Hi, everybody. Welcome once again to the Stevie B Show. It's been a while, you know. I mean, we've been away. Hopefully, the pandemic is starting to end, and a lot of restrictions have been lifted throughout Massachusetts. So it's great to be back, and I have two special guests with me today. This one is, their name is John Joseph Fahey, who is like me. He's a public access host, and one of the finest actors in all of Boston, Miss Elaine Gray. Hello, Elaine. Hi, John. How
Hi,
are you doing?
Steve.
Hey, Steve. It's always a pleasure to be with you.
All right, it's a pleasure to meet you. Now, I think this is the first time the two of us have actually ever met. I think, but
It is.
But I wanted to have you on my show. And first of all, John, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? What do you do?
Thank you, Steve. Thank you for inviting us here today. And I'd like to just preface it by repeating what you did say. I do host a cable program. It's called the John J. Fahey Show. And like yourself, I host a program dealing with the entertainment industry. And we've had a lot of people on the show that have talked about their career and the importance of the entertainment industry here in Massachusetts. And Elaine has been on the show many times and has talked about the tax credits and talked about the importance of people telling their representatives, their local state Massachusetts representatives and senators, how important it is to keep the tax credits here in Massachusetts, so these production companies can come in and make the movies that we all enjoy being in and also enjoy watching. So it's very, very important. But I've had the opportunity to do the show probably as long as you have doing this show, and we've been very successful with it, and I'm very grateful for that. And all of the people that we've had on, Jim Saya is an actor as well, and he co-hosts the show with me. So between the two of us, I think it's a nice compliment to get as many people as we've had on the program to talk about the importance of the entertainment industry. And it's also an opportunity to showcase the various talents that we have out there.
Now, how did you get started in this field? Did you always wanted to be a talk show host?
I always wanted to be have some involvement with television. Films came later. And I did have the opportunity. I was very fortunate as a teenager, believe it or not, to be involved with a radio show on WRKO. And I had the opportunity to do that. And it was a great experience to not only be on radio, but to kind of hone your talents. Because, as you know, Steve, a business like this is you get more proficient the more you do it. So it was a great experience for me to do that. And then in the 90s, cable television came to Boston, and I had the opportunity to take a workshop just like you did, and many people who were watching this program tonight.
I did too.
And Elaine as well.
Did.
And we took the workshop. In fact, Elaine said you've had a show on
I had
on
my
cable
own
too.
show in the 90s, yes.
You had your own public access show?
I
Elaine?
did.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So I took the workshop in Boston, and I originally developed a half-hour show. More political. People who were running for political office, they would come on and talk about what their views were, and why they were running and what their platforms were. And it was a half-hour taped show. And then we decided that we would do a 1-hour live show.
Wow.
And then we did that for a while, and then we switched it over to the entertainment industry. And we switched it over because a lot of things were happening here in Massachusetts. A lot of productions were taking place, actors were coming into the city, and a lot of people were getting involved with the business, movies and TV. So we thought that it would have more of a general appeal, whereas the political show in Massachusetts was just endemic to the state or to the city. This way, entertainment is pervasive. It goes everywhere. And that's so important to keep these productions coming to Massachusetts, because people worldwide watch this. Watch these shows, watch these movies. Elaine's been in many films, too. And in fact, today you got somebody telling you they saw you in a movie, right? I mean, how many people... what a great opportunity is to have somebody say, I saw you in this, I saw you in that, and I saw you in this. And how important it is, even from the tourist's perspective. People come into Massachusetts because they saw scenery that they would like to see in person. So that's what I do, and I've had the opportunity, like Elaine, to write for a local newspaper, a community newspaper, community magazine.
Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I do theater reviews.
Oh.
And I am the theater arts columnist for the Boston City paper. So I had a chance to do that over the course of several years, and talked about theater, productions coming here to Massachusetts,
Yeah.
and also productions that I've seen in other places that I thought that would be interesting for the readers of Boston to read about. And also, believe it or not, Steve,
What?
believe it or not, I have done a few roller coaster reviews in my
Roller
life.
coaster reviews?
Roller coaster reviews in my life. So for you roller coaster enthusiasts out there, people who really like roller coasters, there's a lot out there, a lot of great rides, and there's more on its way. So I've had the opportunity to sit in the front seat and the back seat of some of these super roller coasters that I've had the opportunity to experience. But again, it's all part of the entertainment world.
So settle the debate. So is it better to be in the front or the back of the roller
The
coaster?
back.
The back.
The back because you see everyone go before you, but the front because you see the perspective of going up. But that's an opportunity to share my views, and not my views necessarily, but my experiences with people. And Elaine, I'm sure you feel the same way. And how people enjoy reading what you've experienced, and they can experience the same thing, even if just by reading.
That's incredible. Now, where do you do your cable access show?
Boston.
Boston.
It's done in Boston. It's been done. It's been going on for over 20 years, and it's been in hiatus now because of the COVID restrictions. And we're thinking, as we're talking now, this is the end of June, but we're thinking that it's going to resume probably by the end of the summer. So we've got a lot of people lined up, but we're not making any commitments at this point because we really don't know what's happening. We follow the protocol, and there have been many programs that have been done remotely, but the show that I do, similar to yours, and mine's a little different too because it's call-in. People call in and ask questions.
Yeah.
So that's a studio-based operation. So we haven't done anything with the remote process with that. So we're waiting for the studio to reopen. So I'm saying probably within a month and a half.
Now, how long have you been doing it? Like
Since the 90s.
Wow, me too. I've been doing it.
We've been doing it at the same time.
Yeah,
And Elaine, you had your show in
Mine
the 90s.
was in the
too.
90s,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, what was the name of your show, Elaine?
It was called Focus TV, and it was Watertown, Mass., and it was the first continental cable vision that had come into our town, and I took all the classes. So I had a host, and I would go out in the field, and then I would sit down with the host when he was interviewing. But I was the director and the creator of the show.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Elaine, can we talk about your career? I'm looking at your resume right now, and I am blown away. I've seen some of the movies. Some of the movies actually I did as an extra. Ted 2, Spotlight. In fact, I think Spotlight is where I saw you when I first saw the movie
Yeah.
not too long ago. That was a great movie. Mark Ruffalo was excellent in it.
It was.
Grown Ups, so many. Now, how did you, Elaine? How did you start in the theater performance? When did the acting bug bit you?
The acting bug bit me when I was about 12 years old, and I was at a Catholic school, and the art in the theater just became prevalent there because we did passion plays and whatnot, but they also took me out to paint. The nuns did, and they would put my work into shows. But that's when I got my bug. And then while I was at the university from 1997 to 2006 when I graduated, every time as an adult learner, because I took those years when I was
What university
older.
was that?
At Harvard.
Oh my God, Harvard.
Harvard. I went 9.5 years at night as an adult learner. But the classes are difficult because you're older. It's harder to grasp. So I would take the serious, difficult subjects, and I was offset it with, something like Shakespeare or, dramatic art programs. And when it was time to graduate, my advisor said to me, Elaine, do you realize you've taken enough classes in dramatic arts that you can petition the college? You have to write an essay and you have to petition them, but you can petition them to get a field of study in dramatic arts, and when you graduate, that'll be, in addition. So I did that, and I started right away sending out to casting, putting my work together.
Now, I noticed you're an artist. Can we see some of the paint? Look, these are beautiful. What are those? The duck boats? No,
These
no,
are the
the
swan boats. This is.
We can get.
I aim it there.
Can we get a close up of that, guys? Right.
Let me see how I get it there straight.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Oh, that is That is beautiful. That is so beautiful. Wow.
Thank you. Thank you.
That is nice.
It's really a copy. It's not the actual painting, so it's not as detailed as it would be if you saw it in person.
Refocus. Okay.
There.
Oh,
yeah, that was great.
Okay, right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Right
yeah.
there.
But, oh my God. Did you Did you go to the public gardens and draw from there? Or?
I did. That's how I started with that
Let's
one.
see that one more right there.
This one here is in. It's up in New Hampshire, in Newport, at the Lake Sunapee.
That is absolutely beautiful.
Lake
oh my
Sunapee.
goodness.
Yeah. Thank you.
That is so nice.
Thank you.
And we'll just have one last one right here. We have it hung up. This is one of your
Ocean.
art.
Yeah.
It's we're gonna look at it. But you've always been a painter.
Since I was, ever since I can remember being at Catholic school from kindergarten until the 8th grade, the 7th grade actually, the full 7th grade, the nuns used to focus on my artwork and have me come out of some classes and go paint downstairs, and then they would submit it to the archdiocese, and I would win awards. So
Wow.
I mean, that always spurs youth on when they receive rewards. So I continued, and then I had a 4-year scholarship to the School of Practical Art, which is now at after I graduated high school, and I went. It's now at part of Leslie College, School of Practical Art. But I went there, and so I.
Now this
to
photo
learn
behind us.
skills.
What is it about?
This is not a photo. This is an. Oil,
I mean painting. I'm sorry.
Well, it's an oil painting.
Oh.
And I'm saying that because I didn't concentrate on oil, because it was when I had my children, it was too messy to have children around my oil painting. I didn't have a studio at that time.
Oh.
But later in life, I had a studio, and I started doing oil painting again. So I did this one for my husband.
Now, I notice you have a book here. Let me just take it right here. This is The Accidental Pope. And from what I understand, the author is Ray Flynn, right? Yep. Now, did you have a hand in this book? Tell us about it.
We did. John can elaborate.
I can
if
give you a
want.
little information on it. Elaine and I have been
We've been marketing it.
fortunate enough to talk about it on several programs. And Ray Flynn, who was the former mayor of Boston, plus the former ambassador to the Holy See,
Yep.
wrote a book in collaboration with Robin Moore from the French Connection. And he was the French Connection author. And Ray Flynn and Robin Moore wrote the book about I guess you could say, a very strange twist of fate that took place many years ago. And there's, believe it or not, even though there's a strange twist in the book, there's also a strange twist in real life too, right?
That's
Elaine,
right.
about this? And what it concerns about is one Bill Kelly. Now, Bill Kelly is a married man, but now widowed, with children living on the Cape, and or living in southern Massachusetts, New Bedford. And what happens with him is that he is accidentally elected Pope of the Roman Catholic Church. And that's kind of an interesting situation, but he's elected he's elected Pope because of a ruse during the conclave. Somebody puts his name in thinking that it would create would stall the votes, actually, and because Bill was a former priest, somebody did that so that it would kind of sort of prevent anything going forward in the conclave. It was political, pretty much. But what happened was he did get elected, and he did accept, and he did become Pope.
Wow.
Now, during his papacy, he took the message of the church, the message of social justice, and applied it to the mission of the worldwide church. And because of that, and what becomes a backdrop of that, is international intrigue, murder, some bad stuff. All making for a page-turner. Right, Elaine?
It is a page turner.
And what we're looking at here is, because Ray is local, because it's a great book, and because Ray has had some pretty good experience in the Vatican, that it might make a very good motion picture. Now, I mentioned also there's a strange twist. There's a twist in the book, and I'm not going to give any more away about this, folks. But the twist is that much of what Ray wrote about in the book. Now, remember, the book was published at the cusp of this century, right around the year 2000. And what Ray wrote about, strangely enough and ironically, actually turned out to be true during the papacy of Francis.
Oh, really?
So that's sort of what we meant when there are two strange twists of fate here.
Right.
But the bottom line and the whole gist of this whole conversation is that The Accidental Pope would make a great movie. And
That's
Ray
right.
has a
I want to see it
screenplay.
now.
And
I've
it-
never
and
read the
it's-
book, but I want to see.
And it's available on Amazon. The book is
It's
right
available
now.
on Amazon.com. It did make a bestseller list, too.
Have you had Ray Flynn on your show?
Oh, several times, yeah. And Elaine and I have met with Ray, and I've had him on several times, and Ray and I have been talking about it for quite some time. And we're just waiting for that
Right
developer to
person.
come along, right?
Yeah.
Elaine, and then just say, let's go with it. And, there's so many people in this area. When I say this area, I'm talking about Medford, of course, but I'm talking about
New
Boston,
England.
New England in general, that have Goodwill Hunting, for example, this area. Celtic Pride, for example. But many people come from this area, and they develop a lot of projects in the movie industry, the television industry, entertainment industry in general. And so we have a lot going on here, and we want to foster that. We want to develop it. And we mostly want to bring all these projects back in to the New England area so that we can, in Massachusetts too, so that we can keep actors working, plying their trade.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about.
Right.
Now, you're both SAG-AFTRA members, right?
That's correct.
That's
All right.
right.
Now, can you give up some people who don't know? Can you give some people who don't know what is SAG-AFTRA?
SAG-AFTRA is the Screen Actors Guild, American Federation of Television and Radio Artists, and people who are in the motion picture industry and are on television belong to those two unions. So essentially, it's the union of movies and television. And many people aren't in the union because they're considered non-union, and they work as extras, as we do too. But after a certain point, you must become SAG-AFTRA, or you work towards becoming SAG-AFTRA in your career, and that's what that is. It's union. It's the union of TV and radio artists. That's essentially what
I
it
know.
is.
My father was a bricklayer union. I mean, he was a bricklayer, so he was part of that union too. No, I really, my unions I think are good for America. Myself.
Well, the motion picture industry has been around for a long time, and it used to be one was television, one was film, and they merged about 7 or 8 years ago. Maybe
About
10 years
nine,
ago,
maybe
9 years
9
ago.
years.
What
ago.
made them decide to merge? That's
Maybe because they were so closely related anyway.
Right, a lot of it overlapped. I was on
Right.
the board of SEG for a year. In 2019, I was elected, and I got to see the two boards working together as one board, because we have SEG and we have ACTR. We had a lot of broadcasters on a
After.
panel.
Right.
So, yeah, and I think I've enjoyed being in the union because, number one, you get a higher pay scale, and that they fight for your rights when it's necessary. They make you aware of things that you should be aware of in the industry, and it's very helpful. It has its pros and its cons. Some people choose to stay independent, and some people move on when they're asked to get in this SAG. But that all takes time. But either way you go, you're working in the industry, and you're building your resumes, and you're working
And you're-
in the field, and you're learning. You learn how to behave on set, and that's something that you can learn when you're in SAG, and you take workshops. And you don't even have to be in SEG sometime to take the workshops.
And you're part of a great industry.
Yeah.
I went to, I believe it or not, a couple of weeks ago. I went to Boston. I went to the State House with a lot of the actors I know. There was my friends Bill Mutos,
Of course, we know Bill.
Dale Apple,
we know Dale as well.
and Peter McSwiggan.
Yep.
Yeah, we're fighting to keep the film tax credit in Massachusetts because while, from what I understand, in the House, the House voters voted for it unanimously. It was like 100 to 1, 100 to nothing.
Now it goes to the Senate.
Now it goes to the Senate. Now, some senators are not for this, so they don't want to make it permanent. They want to make it like year after year or something like that. Now, from what I understand, so we went to, and at the end of the show, I'm going to show you pictures of the rally that we went to, and to show what had happened. But I guess I don't know. I have to be honest. I've lived in this state all my life. I don't know how politics works. Sometime. I mean, I think a majority of the senators want to make it permanent, but some are against it, and I don't know if you need to have a unanimous. I mean, do you know more about this than I do?
Well,
There's a sunset clause, and what we're trying to do is overrule the sunset clause. We're trying to amplify to the legislators why it is so productive in Massachusetts. The tourist industry benefits, the citizens benefit, and all the small businesses that they use, the ancillary uses that people that are funded by the film industry are immense, and those aren't included in the fiscal budgets that they project from the Department of Revenue. It's missing all the details. You know, a lot of production companies didn't want to give out those details, but they're starting to come forward, and we have enough evidence to show that they should not use the sunset clause. That we need to eliminate that from the legislature.
Yeah, from what I heard, though, the senators that are against it, they say it'll raise taxes for everyone in Massachusetts. Is
That's
it?
not so. I don't know.
That's what I heard from the.
Yeah,
from the-
because they're depending upon the Department of Revenue's numbers, and I think that the our industry does quite a lot to promote to our legislators, but we haven't been able to commit enough of them. Although we did, because we just were able to pass the legislation through the House.
Yeah.
Now we have to go through the Senate. So
Yeah, like I said, but that's what I didn't understand, because you said it had passed in the House unanimously, like 100 to
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah.
But from what I understand, a majority of the Senate is for this. But I mean, doesn't majority rule in terms of the Senate? Isn't it kind of like this, like Congress or anything? If the Senate is like 60 to 45, I mean, wouldn't it pass either, or does it have to be unanimous?
I can't answer that.
Okay.
it would have to be unanimous.
Oh, okay.
But there's a that's my understanding. The tax credit itself, what that means is that in Massachusetts, there's three components to that. Number one, there's a production credit, there's a payroll credit, and there's a sales tax exemption. 25% for all three. The sales tax exemption would be applicable if a production company spends more than $50,000 in the state, and that's of course would be true with most productions that are here. They would pay more than $50,000. So those three components make that up. Now, I don't know when the actual Senate vote is going to take place.
Nor do I.
So we have to wait for that, and that's why that rally was so important, to make sure that that this goes through. The sunset clause means, of course, that we don't want it to go away. The sunset clause means that it's
Make it
going
permanent,
to end.
yeah.
It's going to end at some point, and that'll go away, and the tax credits will continue to be given to these production companies.
Because I know that if you don't get the tax credit, like companies will go to like Vancouver or Atlanta or New York, LA, or any other.
We have a 25% right now. Production, payroll, and a sales tax exemption if the production is spending more than $50,000 in the state.
But
So, do you know what's coming to Massachusetts in film-wise?
We've got 3 or 4 now, right?
yes, but now
Maybe even more.
right now Julia is on the books.
Now, what's Julia about?
That's about Julia Childs, and it's
Julia Child, I love
TV series.
And there's
yeah.
a few things happening in Rhode Island as well.
Oh,
So,
Yeah,
so
there's
there's all sorts of
more things in Massachusetts.
New
too.
England is a rich state for the production companies, and for movies and Sleepover.
The
Elaine and I worked over
Sleepover we
a
worked
couple of
on
years
for,
ago.
in 2019.
We had a great opportunity to work on
Right
that.
before COVID. That was
Right.
wonderful.
yeah.
That was a Walt Disney movie.
And
That was a Walt Disney, yeah.
Right. So, and we talked about Dale Appel. Dale and Elaine and Don Warnick, 3, not at the same time. Well, Elaine and Don at the same time, but Dale came on separately. Gave a good, comprehensive explanation of the importance of the tax breaks. And it's important for people, if they would like to get involved and to be part of this, is that contact now it would be your senator, your state senator. You've already most likely contacted your state rep, but since it passed in the House, now it's your state senator, Massachusetts
you
senator.
can thank your House representative.
For doing it, thank
thank
them,
your
right.
House representative, and then contact your senator. My senator, we've been communicating about it a lot, and one of the issues that he has is that he says that the sales tax credits can be sold,
Right.
and that's what he is opposed to. They can be given to somebody and
Right.
go outside of the
Right.
state. So,
Right.
that's his main complaint. So somehow we need to overcome
Right.
that. That's one
Right.
complaint. There's others,
Right.
but there should be more in favor.
Right. Now, the numbers are favorable here because the Massachusetts House of Representatives has 160 members. The Massachusetts Senate has 40. So those 40 votes, those 40 senators, very, very important. We already got a great vote with this 160 reps.
To nothing. That's
Now
all.
we've got to look at the senators and say, look, we've got to keep this tax break. We just got to keep it so the production companies keep coming.
Yeah. At the end of the show, in the credits, I'm going to give you the information on what you can do to call your state senator to
Excellent.
help do the to help encourage them to vote yes on keeping this film tax credit on the credits. So anyway,
The MC, just want to mention that Mass Production Coalition has lots of information on it, and they have a link to voting, to your senator. So it gives you the format, gives you the list of your senators and everything, and that's a good resource.
yeah, I remember because in Lawrence Memorial Hospital in Medford, they were actually shooting scenes for the show Dexter. Believe it or not, yeah, that was so excited. I mean, there was a big story in Medford when all the camera and the equipment and everything was. They used Lawrence Memorial Hospital. My friend actually, Leah Procito, I think.
Right.
She
She's my
did
friend.
extra work. I'd love to have her on my show.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had Frankie and Bergamo on my show. My show. I try to stay in the entertainment. Like I said, my years of.
Right, and by you doing that, Steve, you're fostering the arts too. I mean, you're helping
That's right.
with the knowledge that people need to know about having the movie companies come here, the productions come here, and keep coming here, and that's important as well. So thank you for that,
And fostering the actors.
and helping the actors
Yeah.
out too.
Yeah, I know. I've made a lot of friends in my many years doing this show and doing community theater and everything. Elaine, there's one thing we want to. You actually are also a director as well. We have the video. It's called. Can you tell us a little about it? It's called Coffee Talk. Can you talk about
Yes.
that?
I'll jump from there for a second to a film I did out in Rhode Island, and it was a longer length short film. It was like 2 minutes or an hour and 20 minutes, I forget. But it was called Late, and it was with Brian Casey in Rhode Island. So from there, I worked with Enku Gubai. I'm not sure if you know her. She was she's a very prolific actor and very beautiful, a very lovely person. And she contacted me because she was my star in Late. And she contacted me and asked me if I would direct a film. And it was with herself and one other person. And she wanted me to direct it because she saw my directing skills in Late. So I did. I took it on. It was wonderful. Unfortunately, the person that she was going to be working with had to move on somewhere else. And we brought in Erica Derrickson, who's
I know Erica.
Wonderful.
Oh my God.
She was wonderful. Perfect for the role.
Yeah.
And I had so much fun. It was a 2.5 minute to 3 minute film. And it covered every aspect. I helped picking out their clothes because it was just a 2-person film. But my goal, it was a Jose Gonzalez film. He wrote it, his script. And I tried to follow his vision as closely as I could, but I also have my own vision to incorporate, like what they would be wearing, how they would look, where we would film, and all of that. So I got to work with the actor and the 2 actresses, picking out their wardrobes and deciding, how it was going to pan out. But my thing is I wanted it to be something that they could both use to put into, submit into the casting. So 2 people submitting. Instead of having one reel for one person, you have a double header.
Oh.
And they're promoting each other by doing that, and it was kind of exciting, and that's what happened. You saw it. I think it was a dynamite tool for them.
We're going to take a look at it now. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, enjoy this video directed by Elaine Gray, Coffee Talk.
So, how did it go? I didn't do it. What happened? I thought you were gonna do it today.
I was planning on it.
Well, didn't you already see him today? I mean, are you planning on seeing him again later? I don't even understand why you were breaking up with him in the first place. I mean, you've been telling me how he makes you feel so alive and that you've never felt like this before and he's always on your mind, yet you're breaking up with him. Do you think that maybe he already knows?
No.
Well, then tell him and just get it over with. Seriously, listen. As your best friend, if you don't tell him, then I will do it for you.
Melanie, no.
You just need a good kick in the butt not to chicken out.
Mel,
What is going on with you? I've never known you to stutter before.
only when I'm super nervous.
Well, Doug is not even here. I mean, what are you so nervous about?
It's not Doug.
Then what is it?
Mel, we've been best friends forever. I mean, we've been through everything together. Our first sits, our first boyfriends, breaking up with said boyfriends. I mean, there's nobody on this earth that I feel more connected to than you. I don't know what I'm trying to say here, except I've never had feelings for a girl before. Just when I'm with you, I feel so alive. I'm to realize I'm in love with you.
Oh my gosh. I'm gonna need a stronger drink.
Me too.
Oh, boy! I have to be honest. I was surprised at the ending. To be honest with you,
I bet you were.
I was. I'm like, whoa! Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, but great job, Elaine. That was a
Thank
great
you.
movie. And Erica, I know she actually lives in Guatemala right now. That's
Yes,
what
she
I-
does. I've been following her adventures.
I know she's
She's
I
traveled.
love-
She's a world traveler.
She's
that's
been.
for sure.
I would love to have her on the show, but I mean, I don't know when she's going to come back. So, but
She just wrote a book,
I know her travels. Yeah,
Traveling with Erica.
I know that. I wanted to talk to her about the book and everything. I can't wait to. But so anyway, what's next for you guys coming up? What are you going to be working on?
Well, I have been submitting and hoping to work on some of the adventures that are out there now, and I think there's going to be more now that they've lifted the COVID. I was recently working on some interesting projects because of Zoom. So with the COVID,
It seems everything was
couldn't-
on Zoom. I did my
Yeah.
rehearsals on Zoom. I was in a play that was supposed to be done last year, but because of COVID, they scrapped it. It's going to be in November this year now.
Mm-hmm.
But I did every rehearsal on Zoom. Everything. I did everything. We did
Yeah.
everything on Zoom.
I know.
Wish I bought some stock in Zoom. I would have made a fortune.
I know, but I was invited by Sharon Squires. She was a director in something else I was on, and she asked me to be in Shakespeare. So I was in Julius Caesar's Shakespeare on Zoom, and I was the soothsayer. And then I went on to another project, and I did artwork for. That was for Julius Caesar. I did artwork for Macbeth, and so that there would be. That was very exciting because you had the witches and you had Lady Macbeth and just working with 17, 18 other actors for 5 weeks, 6 weeks rehearsing on Zoom.
That's awesome. Before we go, Elaine, I wanted to talk about, you have a cover right here. It's called Imagine
Yes.
Magazine, and you got all the, a lot of, right there. Don't have to need a oh, that's nice. Oh, now I see you. Can you tell me what is Imagine? Is a magazine in the Boston area? What?
Imagine Magazine is a New England magazine, and it's the publisher is Carol Patton, and it's over 20 years old now, and it is the Bible of the industry around here, the entertainment industry, that is. And I've been fortunate to have been invited to be a guest writer, and I write occasionally for them. I've written maybe about 8 articles.
Man, you do everything.
I have a big bucket list.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, I want to.
On my bucket
like I
list
said,
is to
I've
jump
read-
off a plane, skydiving. That's on my bucket list.
That's good. You're young to do it. That's good. Yeah. But yeah, so that's what Imagine. And this is from 2014. Carol's probably going to say, again, we're going to see it. But this was wonderful. There were 14 women that are over 50 years old and still achieving, as that's in their writing, quote. And we're overachievers, but we had fun. We worked on it, just getting our wardrobes together and having this great photo shoot.
Now these are actors, women actors over 50. Is that
Yeah,
how? Wow.
yeah.
Wow.
All of us are over 50 and overachieving,
Oh,
and
that-
that's it. So,
oh.
but we did have a centerfold. We had a full cover, front and back cover, full centerfold, and we had bios in there, and that was great.
John, so tell me, but before we go, what are your plans? What are your future? Are you going to have shows or?
Well, we're trying. Yeah, we're hoping, we're planning, and thinking positive about resuming the show sometime in August, hopefully. The show has been on hiatus now, as we mentioned, for almost a year and a half, almost 2 years now. So we've been showing a lot of repeats. And the repeats have gone over well. We're on YouTube, Vimeo, and on my page under John Joseph Fahey. And people can watch some of the shows. We have many shows up there. They've been uploaded by Ted Lewis, who does a great job on my show, incidentally, puts it out there on social media. But we're hoping to bring the show back sometime in August or whenever we start again. Because of COVID restrictions, we haven't been able to do that. And we're thinking maybe toward the end of the summer. And we have all sorts of people planning to come on. We had to kind of reschedule and move the schedule around, but a lot of people are thinking of coming on and talking about what they do, and it's a good showcase to show people what their talents are and to promote the industry itself.
Well, guys, I want to thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you.
I hope you had a good time.
We had a great time.
And I want to thank you, John.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you, Elaine.
Thank you.
Okay. And that's it for the CVB show. I want to thank my guests, Elaine Gray and John J. Fahey. And
Thank you.
if you want to know more about the film tax credit, there'll be a link at the end of the show. And we're going to get links for John for his show, everything. And I hope you had a good time. And we'll see you the next time on CVB. It's good to be back, guys. Have a nice day. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.